Basically, my whole life has been about f*** you. I don't give a shit about you. Everybody that looks like you can f*** off. And kids can relate to that because we mean it.
It's kind of like me against the world, you know? And it's a good thing because it makes me feel alive.
Papa Roach sucks.
What's your beef with them?
They suck, man. Their stuff is all the same. They suffer the same fate as Limp Bizkit and Korn. All their music is identical, and it's all about, Daddy bothered me when I was a child.
I just don't like the whole self-loathing, like tortured, angry part of the whole thing.
Because of what's been set in the past and because of the way heavy music has been categorized and seen by public or by mainly by record companies and who have not chosen to look deeper into what they're really saying and what they're really about, then it is all about headbang and anger.
Angry music has become kind of trendy.
All these other bands that want to come out and, you know, either grab onto our boot heels or some other goddamn band's boot heels and say, hey, you know, we're just as, you know, screwed up as, you know, as all these other people. You know, kiss my f***ing ass. Bunch of f***ing liars.
Aggression and the exhilaration of it and the energy that is caused by it and created by it are intoxicating.
People think about heavy music and they automatically link that to aggression, and that's really not the case at all. Heavy music comes from playing in a heavy way, and either you know how to do it or you can't.
Heavy music doesn't necessarily have to be angry music.
You have just as much aggression on a positive tip as you can on an angry tip.
I think for us, there is a kind of a subliminal desire to kind of redeem heavy music in the sense of making it, showing a stronger sense of maturity, thought, you know, dimension.
I just see a lot of bands that I think are trying to grasp on to an aesthetic or an attitude, and then they water it down just enough so that it's safe for radio.
Yeah, it's prepackaged angst. It's all it is. We've seen it before. I mean, it's just, and it's stupid. It's contrived, and, you know, there's no feeling to it. So what's the point?
If you're listening to like scary metal, it's just something to get away to, like, and this experience that's totally different than everything else that you're surrounded by.
I think if they're yelling along with me, then they're only, like, you know, releasing their own demons. It's nothing like that provokes violence or anything.
You'll hear a lot of things now, and it sounds angry, and the music's loud, and the guitars are distorted, but that doesn't mean that it's real, you know? How can you be talking about years of anguish and pain when you just graduated high school and, you know, you just got your first tattoo? If you're a geek, you know what I'm saying, you can feel part of it. If you're, you know, if you're a jock, you know, maybe you'll understand the geek, you know, and maybe you're the geek, you might understand the jock kid, you know. And
Kids are going to grab onto something if they really feel it, you know, and if they find out that you don't feel it in return, they feel cheated, they feel robbed, and that's the way a lot of kids are cynical at the age 14.
The generation of kids today grow up not looking forward to anything really. They seem more like down and more violent and more depressed. And it's just things we touch on that I touch on that come out of me, the negative things that come out of me that they can confide in and find some kind of escape, I guess.
Our genre of music and the generation, our demographic, is sometimes the kids that feel like they get passed over or overlooked and not taken seriously. And I think that's where a lot of the anger comes from.
We just look, you know, for other bands, for the brotherhood within the bands, you know, to make this a movement that is strong and powerful and that will, you know, kids will feel part of it.
We're not claiming to be like the next metal band, you know.
Don't worry about where metal's going. It'll be always around in some shape or form.
Music's look at metal on metal. One of the really cool things about listening to music is discovering some of the artists that influenced some of your favorite bands today. And metal is no exception. So while Disturbed and Slipknot, Linkin Park, and bands like that are getting lots of recognition, so are the cats that influence them.
Does the success of new metal bands, does their success in any way help out some of the truer metal, the more classic metal?
No question. Definitely it does. At least it gets guitar back on the airwaves, whether it be video or radio.
I was talking to Alice Cooper about it like a while ago, and he was talking about how, like, you know, going to places and 3 times the amount of people that were there a couple of years ago. You know, it's just like everywhere. It seems like it's back bigger than ever.
What is it?
I think it's because that's what kids really like.
Poison has become like a Grateful Dead of hard rock. You know, we go out there and we've got these loyal fans.
For our album to come out and be classified as part of this new metal thing, where it's like, you know, when before I ever thought we were the old metal, you know, now all of a sudden we're new.
I've never seen so much press on Slayer in, like, legitimate magazines. Like, you open up Spin and they give it a 10.
Welcome to Austin.
Never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought it would have taken this kind of on its own steam now, you know.
Okay, with the rise in popularity of all this new metal, it'd be easy to say that, well, metal in general is back. The feelings couldn't be more mixed.
I think quote-unquote heavy music has very much become a parody of itself. There's so many, you know, bands riding on other bands' coattails, you know, it's just circular, and it doesn't advance anywhere.
I think that's what sets bands like Darkest Hour apart from bands like Linkin Park, which is that Linkin Park, the main concern for a band like that is straight up radio, and what radio can do for a band like that.
Okay, we had a video on MTV, you know, we have a video on MuchMusic, we have, you know, some commercial success, but that's like, you know, that's whatever. That's, you know, 1 in a million or whatever, you know, whatever that happens to. And, like, you know, we're not claiming to be, like, the next metal band, you know.
I think the thing with music is that there's nothing new under the sun. You know, I mean, everything just has seasons. You know, you have metal, where it's big, you have pop punk, and it just kind of, it takes its rotation.
Metal's always been here, and it will never go away, and it's going to remain here till the end.
Heavy music's always going to be around, you know, no matter what shape or form. You know, there's always going to be people that are pissed off. They want to hear some heavy, aggressive kind of stuff. So, you know, don't worry about where metal's going. It'll be always around in some shape or form.
There's going to be new bands. There's going to be middle, you know, bands. There's going to be bands that have been around forever that are legendary. It's always going to be new blood coming in.
A band like Korn and Slipknot, are we going to see them in another 5 years? Are they going to have the staying power of a Slayer or an Iron Maiden or even a Megadeth, for that matter?
It's not like metal was ever gone. You know, there's people, you still go to LA and you see these clubs that dudes are like metal to the heart. They've never left. They've been playing metal when nobody would show up.
It's a genre of music I don't feel has ever gone away. It's been squished, and it's never been squished by the fans. It's been squished by the media and the industry.
As long as the flag of heavy metal can continue to be waved, whether it's passionate or not passionate, I think it's a good thing.
New metal, old metal, whatever they want to call it, it's still metal.
Heavy metal went underground. It never got uncool, and heavy metal really isn't even a music style. It's a way of life.
All right, well, there you go. That is it for the show. One thing is for sure, metal will always be around. The only real difference is what kind of attention the rest of the music industry is going to pay to it at a given time. And we'd like to apologize now. There was no way we could fit all of your favorite metal bands in there, okay? We knew that going in, but if you still feel inclined to write a letter saying, oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so wasn't in your special, fine. Our new email address is info@thenewmusic.net. Something else we didn't cover was metal's link with Satan. That's a little bit more fun. Just keep your eyes watching the new music in the future. We will also tackle that subject. And in the immortal words of Satan, we'll see you around. Hey, everybody. It's me, Dr. Nick. Whoa, that's a personal question. Metal is the kind of show where I should remember the lines, but I didn't. But also, off me. Wow, Bob, I'm being bad. Okay. Ask a fucking Jesus. Fucking hell. Sucker. Are you talking to me? Are you worried about me? I quit. Going away. See ya.